Attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from outer space, going live at 9 a.m. Eastern. Check us out at www.alienxradio.com. There you'll find a player where you can pick up the show's audio. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook, the Alien X Radio fan group and the fan page, as well as on YouTube, the Alien X Radio YouTube channel, and on Twitch. Make sure that you sign up for all of those. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And you will stay on top of things each and every week when Inside the Mothership and the Attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from Outer Space goes live. Going live in about 10 seconds.
The views and opinions expressed in the following show do not necessarily represent those of this station or its sponsors.
Getting your work week started right by stretching out your Vajir holes with the Attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from outer space. Call into the show live at 313-444-8919. Again, that number is 313-444-8919. Or you can jump in the chat room at alienxradio.com.
Good morning, everybody. Wake up! You have been beamed aboard, and you are now live and inside the mothership for the Attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from outer space, broadcasting live directly into your Vajir holes on Alien X Radio, Raw Talk Online, UG Media, and the Vime City Radio Network. Welcome aboard, everybody. And, of course, we've got fantastic affiliates around the world like 920 WON, the Apple Sword Radio, Western Reserve Digital Radio, J. Parker Radio. Man, we got all over the world, people, all over the world. It is an amazing thing, the reach that this internet radio thing has. Well, folks, I got you for 3 hours. It's 3 hours of The Attack. The Attack is back, all up in your face from outer space. And, guys, coming up on this show for this week, in hour number 1, how about growing mushrooms in your ears or squirrel rage in Queens? Perhaps in hour number 2, welcome to Siberia. Fists and dancing in Germany. Well, 3,021 words. And you are not. We're getting rid of a bunch of other ones that I would like to have nothing to do with 2020. But these ones are all like, we really need to get rid of these words from 2020. Okay, and these phrases. They gotta go. They gotta go, yo. So that's coming up. We got a What the Florida, a wackadoo of the week. Man, I've actually got some stuff here, some content and things. Just a few questions, classic and more classic. All of that on the way. But let's go ahead and start things the way we always do, with a bit of a history lesson here on the Attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from outer space.
Broadcasting directly into your brain.
Let's take a look at this day in history.
The main danger to stability is terror.
January 4, 2006, Israel's Prime Minister Ariel Sharon suffers a significant stroke and lapses into a coma. It happens just months after Sharon ends Israel's 38-year occupation of the Gaza Strip and bolts his own hardline Likud party. Sharon's official powers are transferred to his deputy, Ehud Olmert, who later succeeds him as Prime Minister. 1809. Louis Braille, the inventor of a reading system for the blind, which bears his name to this day, is born in a town near Paris. 1999.
The one thing you'll get from Governor Jesse Ventura. You may not always want to hear it, but you will get honesty.
Former pro wrestler Jesse the Body Ventura vows to be a straight talker after he's sworn in as the governor of Minnesota. And 1965. Poet T.S. Eliot, whose work inspired and supplied most of the words for the musical Cats years later, dies in London at age 76. Today in history, January 4th. Sophia Manos, The Associated Press.
Alrighty, folks, let's go ahead and get that music directly into your vagina holes. They need to be opened up and woken up, and let's go ahead and do that with little Hell Dogs and our own John LeBang on the attack.
The shadows, hell dogs are cattle, making souls of humans bleed. Lightning and thunder, they feed the hunger of the shadow casters. Hell dog pounding. Pounding. Disguised in pleasure, your souls they treasure. The beast of hell infecting food. Forbidden fruit of the tree. The hell dog wine. Just get a little.
H.R. Rustica, and you are listening to Alien X Radio.
inside? Do you have control over your mind? Of your mind. Of your mind. Of your mind. Of your mind. Do you see your way through this maze? Can you see at all through the haze? Do you need some help to survive? Do you need someone to realize? Of your mind. Of your mind. Of your mind. Of your mind. Do you see the error of your ways? Do they see the mistakes that you have made? Can they hear you through your endless cries? Tell me, do they see right through your disguise? Your mind. Of your mind. Of your mind. Of your mind.
Futile. Probing is not allowed. Call into the show live at 313-444-8919. That's 313-444-8919. Or hang out in the chat room at alienxradio.com. You have been beamed aboard and you are now inside the mothership with Alien Stone.
All right, everybody, it is now time for the punchlines with Alien Stone. Today's punchlines are being brought to you by Igor's Lube and Igor's family of products. Got a sweaty taint, do you? Well, try Igor's new Skin Bridge Cooling Gel with roll-on applicators. Put on a nice thick layer and stay cool all day. Are you stuck at home because your governor is telling you to stick your ass right there on the couch? Well, make your governor stick right where she is, or he is, with Igor's new governor glue. Available for use with the Gretsch Trap. So anyway, folks, talking about growing stuff. Talking about plants, talking about creatures, okay? You've all heard the stories about the person who goes on safari and they have a little itch on the back of their head, and then they come back home, and then they wake up in the middle of the night because they hear noises, and then they find out that there's a botfly growing in the back of their skull. It's alive in there, you know. That kind of stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff happens. Well, a lot of these kind of things can be avoided simply, by covering up. And in this particular case, using your brain and hygiene a little bit, okay? A lot of people out there clean out their ears, right? You're going to clean out your ears because they get wax in there and build up and stuff, and maybe, it can start affecting your hearing and stuff, and it can give you earaches, and there's all kinds of things that you need to do to maintain your ears. Well, if you happen to not have your own equipment for doing this, and you are, insane, you may choose to share someone else's ear cleaning equipment. Ew. Well, that's what this person did. And then, of course, they got an earache. Surprise, surprise, right? So we got an earache. So let's go to the ear doctor. See what the ear doctor says. Well, call it a reason to never share your earbuds. It's another thing. Talk about ear cleaning equipment. Don't share your earbuds either with anybody. That's gross. It's nasty. Or anything else that goes in your ears. A doctor in Vietnam told the newspaper that he found dozens of tiny mushroom-like growths around the eardrums of a patient who had complained of itchy, painful ears. The likely reason? The unnamed patient had been sharing ear hygiene equipment with each other. So, I'm looking at this micro picture of inside this guy's ear, and yes, there are these little growths that look like mushroom type things growing in his freaking ears. Folks, have I sufficiently given you the heebie-jeebies? Have I sufficiently grossed you out? Are you itching? Are you twitching? Are you digging in your ear right now because it's bugging you? I hope so. This is not science fiction, folks. This is reality. This is reality. Don't put things in your ears that other people had in their ears. Don't wear other people's hats. You know what I'm saying? Ew. People, come on. Why don't you just share toothbrushes while you're at it? Hey, that wad of toilet paper you used, is it only dirty on one side? Well, flip it around and hand it over. Ew. Just plain ew. You know what I'm saying? That's disgusting, folks. I'm pretty sure I have a little thing on here that is not... There it is. Okay, so. Yeah, all right. So anyway, folks, that has been the punchline for hour number 1. We are going to get into something. Maybe I'll do a couple of them now. We'll spread them out here and there. But, 2020 sucked balls. There's no question about it. Okay, and not in the good way. Not in the good way. All right? I'm talking in the bad way. It sucked balls. So, that being said, there are a lot of things that people said over and over and over again on the news and in the newspapers and in magazines and on Facebook. And these particular words and terms have been deemed as bad words. Don't say them anymore. Going forward in 2021, every year there's a list that comes out. I don't know if you know this or not. There's a list every year that comes out of the words of the previous year that were overused and now need to be put to rest. So I'm only going to do some of these right now because we got another awesome music break coming for your ear holes here in a second. By the way, I'm going to just name off. We've got some bands coming up today like North of Never and Soldier's Last Breath, The Creeping Chaos, and Big Motor Gasoline. I mean, Suit and Leftover Bullets. Okay, so there's all kinds of great bands on the way today. So if you're looking for some music, it's definitely on the way. So anyway, definitely number one that people are still going to say it for years and years. It's COVID-19. Sick of it. Everybody's sick of it. We don't want to hear it anymore. The word is, it's toast, okay? We don't need to say it anymore. Everybody knows what it means. There's not even any way to say it, to do a shorter version of it, because the other version is also on the list, is coronavirus. Now, the coronavirus, if most people are thinking, oh my God, that's what's ravishing. Coronavirus is a family of viruses that have existed forever. I mean, you can find old medication and read on the back and it says effective against coronavirus. And people are like, oh my God, look. No. COVID-19 is a version of a coronavirus. It's a type of coronavirus. Okay, so relax about that. But anyway, we're tired of that term too. We don't ever need to hear that again. Rona is another term that we can kick to the curb. We don't need to say it anymore. And please, I hope that nobody is naming their children Rona. Please, I don't want to see any ladies out there later on named Rona that were born in 2021. Okay, conceived during a quarantine, born the next year with the name of Rona. Ew. And the last one that I'm going to do for right now is one that I never heard such a term until this entire debacle began, and that's social distancing. Social distancing. That's like a contradict. That's like jumbo shrimp. Okay? That's like jumbo shrimp. It doesn't make sense. The term itself is contradictory. It's no good. Social and distance. Anyway, folks, music for your Vajir holes. Let's take a trip down the river with North of Never on the Attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from Outer Space. All right, folks, time to take a short break, a pause in the action for station identification, and we will be back with the second half of hour number 1. More music on the way, as well as more punchlines, as well as some just a few questions. What the Florida, and a wackadoo of the week. All that on the way on the attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from outer space.
Broadcasting directly into your brain.
And now your weekly sports update with the Prospect.
Should all acquaintance be forgot? It's the first weekly sports update with the Prospect in 2021 on Alien X Radio. Week 17. With the NFL playoffs around the corner, there's implications for many teams to either gain home field advantage or just squeak by via the wild card. It's a lot to swallow, so here we go. In the AFC, we have the Titans, Dolphins, Ravens, Browns, and Colts vying for a playoff spot. The Titans need to either win or have either the Ravens, Colts, or Dolphins lose. The Dolphins need to either win or the Ravens, Browns, or Colts lose. The Ravens need to either win or the Browns and Colts lose. The Browns have a little bit more complicated scenario because they have to either win or have the Colts lose or have the Titans lose and the Colts and Dolphins win. The Colts, however, are the only team that needs to win and have any one of the other teams lose. As long as one of those teams lose, the Colts can clinch with a win. Got it? Good. Now that's just to get in. The Titans and the Colts are fighting for the AFC South title as well. The Titans clinch with a win or a Colts loss, while the Colts have to win and the Titans lose to take the crown. Phew. Over in the NFC, the Cardinals are in complete control of their destiny as they only have to win their game against the Rams with no help from anyone else. The Rams, however, have to either win or have the Bears lose. The Bears have to either win or have the Cardinals lose. That's just a wild card scenario. The NFC home field advantage is being contested between the Packers, who can do it with either a win or a Seahawks loss, the Saints, who can take it with a win plus a Packers loss and a Seahawks win, and the Seahawks, who can only do it with a win plus both a Saints loss and a Packers loss. The NFC East title is also up for grabs as well. Washington football team wins and they're in. If they lose, the Cowboys and the Giants can clinch with a win. Get it? Got it? Good. The college football playoff final is set, with Alabama making another run, beating Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl last week. Their opponent? If you thought they were facing Clemson, you'd be sadly mistaken. In what is considered the upset of the FBS season, the Ohio State Buckeyes emerged victorious with a 49-28 clubbing of the Tigers. Now all that remains is the odds-on favorite Crimson Tide, poised for another championship against the quintessential Big Ten underdog Buckeyes, who proved to many critics that they belong despite having a season record of only 6-0 due to COVID canceling most of the conference's games, one of whom was none other than Clemson coach Dabo Swinney, who ranked them at 11th in the coaches poll. Swinney had been grilled for his remarks, which he has no regrets for even after the team he criticized beat his team in a pretty important game. Alabama, in their 79th consecutive game, is favored by 7 points, although I'm sure that there would be much more than that. After all, the odds makers have the over-under at 76, the highest total in the history of the BCS and the CFP. Well, tune in next week for more sports. For Alien X Radio, I'm the Prospect, saying until next time, Prospect out.
With the weather quickly changing, it might be a good time to have your furnace or air conditioner checked out by a professional.
Freedom Heating and Cooling.
They specialize in light commercial and residential service and installation. They even do hot water tanks.
Freedom Heating and Cooling.
Just check out this deal.
Complete installation of the iWave R air purifier for only $600. It kills mold, bacteria, and viruses while reducing odors and allergens.
Contact Eric at 313-920-2600 313-920-2325. Again, that's Eric at 313-920-2325. Or get a hold of Dave at 248-345-8196. Again, that's Dave at 248-345-8196. Look for him on Facebook at Freedom Heat Cool. Call today for a free estimate.
Freedom Heating and Cooling.
Oh, honey, what a wonderful surprise. A dozen roses and chocolates, a candlelit dinner, and now champagne and strawberries by the fire. You're so romantic.
What do you say we get a little closer?
Igor? That's right. Igor here with the final ingredient for love.
Igor's lube?
Nothing gets things moving and grooving like my lube, and it prevents chafing.
Thanks, Igor.
And don't forget, Igor's lube now comes in cherry, mint, and salmon flavor.
Igor's Lube. Get some today and get some tomorrow.
Broadcasting from the dark side of the moon. Alien X Radio. Resistance
is futile. Got something to say? Don't be a bitch. Call into the show at 313-444-8919. Here we go! Or you can jump in the chat room at alienxradio.com. Broadcasting from beyond planet chaos directly into your Vajir holes. It's the attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from outer space.
The house is now on fire.
And welcome back to The Attack, everybody. It's The Attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from outer space. We're screaming through the galaxy at triple redunculous speeds, or at least talking really loud in the back row of the movie theater. It makes everybody really annoyed, but that's okay. At least they're turning around and paying attention to us, right? And I have a microphone. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that whole speech. Anyway, folks, a lot of people out there raging, right? A lot of people out there just losing their minds and going crazy and just raging, right? Well, maybe it's not just people. What if it's just not just the people? Well, folks in Queens, all right, they're experiencing a little something along the lines of some rage, okay? I'm talking about an angry, aggressive squirrel is running around Queens attacking people in the streets of their neighborhood. Like you didn't have enough to deal with in 2020 and now going into 2021, and the fact that you live in Queens. Now you also have to deal with a psychotic, aggressive, attacking squirrel every time you go outside. Like you have no idea. Like you don't know what they all look the same, right? All the squirrels are the same, right? I know that's really like that's not racism, is it? That's like what, speciesism? Is that a word? I just made it up. It is. I said it. It's a word. But yeah, all the squirrels look alike, right? So how do you know if it's a regular squirrel or if it's the aggressive killer squirrel that you've been hearing about on the news? How would you know? Better watch your nuts. That's all I'm saying. Keep an eye on your nuts. And your shins. And I'm just saying, stay away from squirrels in general. I know that there's some friends of the radio station that post a lot of videos of them feeding the squirrels outside. Well, that's all good right now while you're feeding them and they're being friendly. But after a little while, they're going to start calling all their friends. And next thing you know, it's going to be like Planet of the Apes except with squirrels. And then you're in trouble because you're going to run out of nuts and you're going to run out of lunch for them. Then we're going to be the food game. Just picture squirrels with rifles. That's the future. Stay away. Don't do it. Anyway, Cast from Hell from Soldier's Last Breath on the Attack of the Morning Madcast from outer space.
This is what we've become.
This is Rob K from the Creeping Chaos, and you're listening to Alien X Radio.
Look at the turning wheel, at the changing of the color, and the speed. Your mind.
don't shine. We don't need your war. Yeah. What you see on TV is really true, yeah. Little ways on man with your alligator smile. You can stick your policies where the sun don't shine on. Don't shine on. Don't shine. Oh yeah.
Resistance is futile, but you can struggle if you like.
It's the attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from outer space.
You got something to say? Say it, bucko. Call into the show live at 313-444-8919. Again, that number is 313-444-8919.
Welcome back to The Attack, everybody. It's The Attack of the Monday Morning Madcast from outer space. I am your host, Alien Stone. We're broadcasting to you live on AlienXRadio.com, Raw Talk Online, UG Media, the Lime City Radio Network. Let's see, what else are we live on right now? Sword Radio and the Western Reserve Digital Radio. Those are live. And then we are in syndication and replay on many other stations around the world, like 920 WON The Apple, 24.7 The Stream, and Get Smashed Radio in Seattle, Washington. Oh, yeah, all over the place, guys. Wherever you are listening, the Alien X lines are open at 1313-444-8919. Again, that's 1313-444-8919. Or you can Skype me at AlienStone1. That's AlienStone and the number 1, not spelled out. It's the number 1, otherwise you'd be wrong. And for those of you just tuning in, you're late. The show gets underway at 9 a.m. Eastern each and every Monday for The Attack. And I got you for 3 hours, folks. 3 hours. That's right. We got some more music coming up for your Vajira holes before we round out hour number 1. But let's get back to this list, shall we? We've just staggered out of a battlefield known as 2020. We staggered out. We're limping, we're bleeding, we're bandaged. We're trying to help each other up. We're leaning on each other. We got crutches. Smoke and flames behind us, and for some reason we think that as soon as we walk out of the smoke, everything's going to be great. Well, I don't know. I do know that people talk a lot, and when they talk a lot, they use a lot of words over and over and over again, and we went over some of the words already that we're not supposed to use anymore. They've been banned. These words are not going forward. We already mentioned COVID-19, coronavirus, Rona, and social distancing. Those are some words and phrases no longer we don't want to hear it anymore. Well, I'm going to finish out this list now, folks. Some of these, not necessarily directly related to the whole COVID-19 situation. Sorry, I'm just looking at my levels here. They're looking kind of weak, and I don't understand why. I got to scream into the microphone to get it. I don't understand why. This kind of stuff happens all the time, man. It's weird. You never really know why. You just start wiggling knobs and pulling on cables. I know that sounds sexual, but it isn't. All right? So anyway, I think maybe I just wiggled the right cable for a second. Maybe I got some volume. I don't know. Anyway, guys, on the list, I'm never going to stop using this, even though I have been informed that my co-host on Inside the Mothership, this is his mother's name, but Karen is on the list. We're not supposed to use Karen anymore. Well, what about all the people who are named Karen? What about their husbands? What are they going to call her besides, hey, bitch, come here? That's not going to work. That'll end in divorce and murder, okay? That's what will happen. Divorce and murder. Lots of it. So no, you cannot take Karen off the board. Okay, it's an actual name. People have to use that name, right? So I know, right? That's on the list. I know, right? Really, you might as well get rid of really too. Then really, because we've used that as much as I know, right? Really, we do that about the same. But I know, right, is a phrase that they put on this list that we are not supposed to use anymore going forward. We overused it. They say last year, but I think that we've been using that for a long, long time. I'm not really sure why this is on here. It can't be from its little run back in the day on Friends, but the word pivot? I guess we've used this a lot when we're talking about the reactions that they did to the coronavirus and all that kind of stuff. It's like, well, on a moment's notice, the teams were all able to pivot and respond. They were all able to pivot and respond. I guess they used that a lot, but I didn't hear it, so that doesn't really get to me that much. Now, we're starting to get into what I think are the top four, really. The top four that really bugged me. Besides the social distancing, that one, I still think that was a made-up word just for this. Because it doesn't make sense. Like I said, it's like jumbo shrimp. It's contradictory, okay? Distance, but social, okay? So, this one here, I heard it a few times, but I thought it was a media made-up term just to freak people out, and it's an emotional term.